Welcome back to the channel. On this episode, we're going to go in depth on Aston Villa 2, Liverpool 2. Tactical debrief time. We're going to go through all of the main talking points with still images. We're going to look at all of the numbers. We'll have a look at the heat maps. We'll have a look at the passing networks as well. And we'll discuss all of the major talking points from the game. So grab a drink, enjoy it, sit back, relax, and let's delve into Aston Villa. If you are new to the channel, make sure you are subscribing. It helps me out massively. We're on the road to 24K, so you can help us get to 24K. We're not far away. So comment your thoughts. Let's have a like target because it was a really good result and good performance. Let's try and go for 1,000 likes on this one. So the day after then, how am I feeling? How are we all feeling? Let me know. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive. Anyone that watched our match preview before the game will know that we were really positive anyway. We were looking forward to the challenge, but there were some really good performances from players, and a couple of the new players as well that I was really impressed with. Garcia, Disasi, Rashford's looking a massive threat. I thought Asensio was okay. I think it's a difficult game for him for the way that he plays in the system, but I thought he did fine. And I just liked the character of the team. I liked that we were able to come back from 1-0 down against arguably the best team in Europe right now. It was always going to be an intense game. Liverpool were coming to Villa Park knowing that Villa Park is a fortress for us. We don't really lose at Villa Park. They know that it's one of those where if you can tick Villa Park off, you'll go a long way to winning the trophy if they were able to win that game. So they'd got added incentive, added motivation coming to Villa Park anyway. And I just felt, for me, it was all about how we applied ourselves. Can we live with them? Can we create chances? Not only just sit back, defend, but can we do our style? Can we get on the ball? Can we play around them? Can we open them up? And the answer is yes. We open them up numerous times. And yes, we live on the edge. But that's what Emery wants at times. It's risk and reward. Yes, we want to play in tight areas at the back. Because if you do that and you beat the press, you'll find a Yuri Tielemans in space that can get his head up, that can look forward, that has got options in front of him. So we were able to do that ample and numerous times, and that was really pleasing for me against a team that I think these are probably the best pressers in Europe right now. So to be able to play through that press with a makeshift back four, we're talking about Disasi's not played with Mings that much. Garcia's not played with Disasi and Mings at all, really. So to be able to do that, you've got to be able to look at it and go, I can see what Villa are doing. I can see the identity. I can see what we're about. And this is all about what Emery's trying to get this team to be and how he wants to grow this team to sort of future-proof us so that we have got a philosophy and a style that we can take into sort of like next season and years on end, hopefully. So I think that aspect of it was really pleasing for me. And I heard Arnie Slot's comments at the end saying if you put all their chances together, there's only one winner. But football doesn't work like that. You don't put all the chances together. What about if you put all of Villa's fine margins together? The offside, Rashford, when he was offside, you've got the Ramsey offside. These are very small, narrow margins. They were very tight calls. So, on another day, someone holds their line, we're scoring again. So you could talk about Liverpool's missed chances, but we had real good chances ourselves. Marlon, we had flashes across the box. So I think it was a real pleasing performance, and I think it's one that we have to build on. We have to use this now as a leverage going into the Chelsea game, because it can be a big week. A big week, getting a point at Villa Park against Liverpool and then beating Chelsea, it puts you in a real good position. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to the challenge now. Pleased with how we played. Lots of positives. And we'll go through the positives as we go on this episode as well. So, I think, talking about the fine margins, it doesn't really get much finer than this, does it? I mean, Rashford offside, not offside by a lot, is he? So, this was very early on in the game, and what I liked early on as well, especially, was that Asensio ball out wide to Rashford. They've got a little bit of a partnership and an understanding going as well. But this was very fine, a Neely moment. But, we've got to show it as well, because on another day, it's good play, really. He's run off the back of Trent. It's a great ball from Asensio. Unfortunately, this one was offside. So the next big talking point in this one was the Garcia. And sometimes when you're at a game, a live game, it's very difficult to sort of remember what happens, because everything's a bit of a blur, because you're trying to in the whole 10, you're standing up, right? You're singing, you're getting stuck into it, and you're watching it, and things blur and mishmash together. So I actually didn't think this was as bad as what it actually was. Now, I mentioned on the fan cam that I don't really want anyone really digging him out and sort of going in on him, because take this away, we have got a very, very good player on our hands here. Very good. He had a really good game, and I just thought he was so good. He was so tenacious. His touch is brilliant. His awareness, forget this a minute, his awareness is really good. His mentality to sort of beat his man and keep going, keep trying, keep going to the byline, keep going past the player, keep going past Robertson. And I really, really enjoyed it. And I think he's got a lot of endeavour. And I think positionally he's good. And I just think we have to stick with him, because there's a player here. There is a little gem here. And I've been so impressed with him. And I think in this moment right here, he must have like brain fog, because he sort of takes a touch and takes another one and just passes it straight to Jota. Now, I don't know why he's done it, because I don't know where he's trying to pass to. I don't know whether he's trying to go to Martinez, but I just think it's just one of those where you've just made a bad decision, and you just have to park it and just move on. You could see how distraught he was, and to be honest, I actually liked it, because it showed how much he cared, and it showed how much of a big mistake he'd made, and he was fully aware of it. So I'm okay with that, because had he have just trudged back into position or just held his, the fact that he was really bothered about it, I actually thought it was quite good, because it shows that he knew the mistake he'd made, and after that he recovered perfectly. He was brilliant after that. He got a couple of touches, and he wasn't afraid either, because I was watching him closely after that, because he is under pressure when he's been receiving the ball against Liverpool. But he was still comfortable playing it back, playing it in tight areas, playing a little bit of a risky pass into midfield. So fair play to him. And I'm not going to be going in and saying, it was all his fault, blah, 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 because I thought he had a really, really good game. But in this moment here, Jota and Salah, they don't miss, you get punished. And they were always going to score from this, because that's what this team do. But then we get back in the game, and another major talking point is Rashford's dead ball delivery. It is absolutely incredible how much whip and power and how he puts it into an area. I think that's a massive, massive threat that we've got now, because you know that the delivery is going to be really good into the box, and it was. And one of the really big things that I think could go like not noticed is that we keep the ball alive, and John McGinn at the back post keeps the ball alive. He's there to sort of like, he's there tactically because you can see that he's at the back post anyway, unmarked. So it is a ploy, and I think he keeps the ball in well. We win another one, and it falls to Yuri Tielemans, and he gets a good connection, and it's in the back of the net, and we're back in the game. And at that point, I think we were more than sort of, we deserved to be level. I felt when we scored, I actually felt like we didn't deserve to be losing in that game, because I felt like we were holding our own, we were playing well, and I think first half we were the better team. I thought we were really good in the first half, and then we score a goal that is going to be so under the radar goal. It won't get talked about, but it should, because Ollie Watkins' movement for this goal is absolutely incredible. It is such a good goal, and it is probably one of our better goals this season, because it's got so much technique in it that it's just unbelievable. So we'll take a look at it. So the goal starts with Ollie Watkins in this area here. So bear in mind that Watkins is the one that scores. Watkins is the one that sort of starts this move off, and is on the edge of the box, and he plays a nice little pass to Luca Dean. Now, when Luca Dean here now, look at where just before Digne is about to strike the ball, take a look at where Ollie Watkins is here. Now, this isn't a goal where the ball goes in, the striker's in position, and the striker just glances it. There's so much to do here. Watkins gets into this area here at the right time, at the right moment, just as the ball's been delivered. It's so good. And we can see here that the ball's been delivered, and it's Ollie Watkins, the one who's gone and got in there and sort of, it's not even a glance, because he's got so much to do to like bend his neck round and head it in the back of the net. So it's so good, because the starting position for Watkins and the finishing position to show that desire to get into that area. This is a really good goal. Really good. What I did say Watkins plays well against Liverpool. Didn't I say that? I did. Right, so what have we got next? We've got this one next. So this was something that I felt like we had a bit of a problem with twice. And it was our defensive line. And you can understand why it's not as solid as what it was last year, because we've got a new player, no partnership really. And then we've got Digne as well. And this little chipped ball through here is something that I thought Liverpool were really, really good at. The little ball that goes sort of through a line, so it goes through players, and I thought they were really good at doing that. Axel Disasi steps up to try and play Jota offside, but then the line of Mings isn't great and Digne isn't great. And I actually feel like Garcia's okay. Now, the big thing what you have to do in this situation is, I remember Emery talking about this in a European game, and you have to make sure you're in line with the player that's next to you. So the line's just not great. So Digne is looking across the line. So Mings is looking across the line. So Disasi actually steps up. So the line was actually okay between Mings and Disasi, but because Disasi steps up, it means that Mings looks like he's playing him on side. So yeah, I think Emery spoke about it after the game, that basically it was a bit too he said it was a bit too deep, and he said it wasn't quite structured enough, and you're going to get that from a defence that's hardly played together. So we've got to work on that. It's something we've got to work on. It happened at the end of the game as well with the Núñez chance. And then we're going to have a little look now then at where should we have a look at? Let's have a look at the Liverpool goal then. So we can have a look at the Liverpool goal. And then we'll go and have a look at some of the real underlying numbers from this game. But you can see from the thumbnail, there's a Mr. Craig Pawson on there. And I'm sticking by this. I thought he was absolutely tragic. Absolutely tragic. There was so much inconsistency within his game in that 90 minutes that was just from a collective. Linesman twice, ball out of play, saying it was in play. Even the lower Trinity were going mad. Even they don't go that mad. Do you know what I mean? And they were up on their feet, barking orders, sarcastically clapping the lino. Even they knew that he had a bad game, the lino. So there was loads of that going on. A weird thing that I couldn't understand what was happening in this game was he would play advantage for a foul, and then there would be another foul within that moment, and he wouldn't drag it back for the initial advantage. He wouldn't then give another foul. He wouldn't go back to the initial foul and card a Liverpool player. There were so many niggles. How many times was Ollie Watkins being pulled by Van Dijk or Konate and the centre halves? How many times was Rodgers fouled? Little clips, little niggles, little blocks, running in front of players. Then we had the Disasi debacle, and then we had one of our own in the box, and we never got the foul, and he allowed them then to take the corner. Just so much inconsistency. And the thing is, like, it was nothing major. It was nothing that major. Well, there was one thing that's major, but there was nothing major to go, that really stands out. That's what. But the problem you've got is that when you're playing in a game like this, and it's high intensity, and it's just so intense that you need those little. If somebody's pulling your shirt, you need them to give the foul, because it's stuttering your momentum, but it's also aiding the opposition as well. And there was just so many times that Watkins got fouled and he was getting manhandled, and I'm just like, God, why are you allowing that? And this was the one that, for me, I think this is a foul in the build-up to the Liverpool second goal. Because what you can see is that the ball has been on the ground, so Van Dijk's gone to ground, and Watkins has sort of stepped up in front of him and been able to win the ball back. Now, that's a foul. You cannot grab a player's shirt. You cannot put your hands on a player and pull them back. And he's being pulled back here. You can see. Look at Watkins' his body language. You know, his body is dipping. His arm is dipping low because he's being pulled. Now, whether Watkins goes to ground or not here, it's irrelevant. It's a foul. You're stopping his momentum. And what then happens, we don't get the foul. The ref's looking directly at that. You know, if there's any Liverpool fans that have got this far in this episode, you cannot say that that is not a foul. It is a foul, right? And these are the fine margins. So the fine margin is we don't get the foul here, and then Trent is able, 100 mile an hour, to burst through this area. And I don't think we defend this goal that well within midfield. I think we've overcommitted quite a lot, especially in this area. But it is a foul, and what happens is Trent's able to burst through. We've got a midfield here, and we're really exposed here. We've sort of like a 3-on-3, and the ball goes out to Mo Salah. And we do get quite unlucky here because Digne does dive in to make the tackle, and he does win the ball, but Salah gets a bit of a ricochet. Then the ball ends up with Trent, and then Trent deflects it and it goes in the back of the net. So from a Villa point of view, it's disappointing because my frustrations with the ref is in that type of scenario where there's a foul, it's not been given, etc. And then, you know, you might get some Liverpool fans that are saying that it was handball, but unfortunately, at least this was consistent, because we saw this in the Spurs-Newcastle game where a ball-to-hand moment, and as long as it's not the goal scorer, then the goal stands. So it's ball-to-hand. So there we go. So we've got the passing networks from the game as well. So from Villa, it's actually a really good passing network, guys, because what I really like about it is that you can see exactly what and the areas that we're trying to get into. So you can see that Garcia is allowed to get into that area. He was quite high, so that was pleasing to see. But the biggest area that I like is that double pivot. Look how solid it is, how strong it is. There's a real good network there. There's a good network across the back. Every player really has got a network. Even Watkins has got that network, where in some games it can be a little bit loose. I actually like that these two players are close together as well. So there's a lot of triangles. There's a lot of width. Rashford offering that width on the left-hand side. And the biggest thing to note as well is that we flipped our formation a little bit. So what you used to seeing was the right-sided player high and wide on the right. But now what we're seeing is Rashford on the left-hand side, high and wide. And that means that the inside forward now, who's playing on that right-hand side, is playing more inverted. And then we've got width coming from there as well. And we've got width coming from there. So we have sort of tweaked the system a little bit. And I do think it means that we're a little bit more attacking on both sides, rather than going width-wise on this side. And I think what it does enable us to do is it enables there to be more width on the left as well. So it's something to note, and that's all about Rashford offering that width on the left as well. But we'll see it from the heat maps as well, and you'll probably be able to see it a little bit better. And then the Liverpool network. And I think this is where we had a lot of joy in the game, because if I think back to John McGinn's game and Yuri Tielemans, and I'm thinking how much space they had in central midfield, well, you can see it, because that's where we were occupying. We were able to occupy the central midfield areas through here and here. And you can see on the passing network that that's where a lot of the space was. You know, it's an intricate network. It's always going to be intricate. You can see that Trent's coming into a bit more of an inside area. They've always got Gravenberch that's sitting and holding as well. So he's in that area. You know, and that front five, that front six is lively. You know, it's got so many rotations in there. They move the ball really well. They rotate and drift out of position into different positions as well. So, yeah, really, really pleasing with how we held our own in this game, especially. So if we have a look at some of the heat maps, then we'll have a look at some of the heat where the Villa players were in this game. And you can see that we've got a lot more width now. We've got a little box midfield with our centre-backs and central midfielders. And it needs solid central midfielders to play this way now. It needs discipline. So what we can see is Garcia's heat map, attacking, getting into that 18-yard box, getting to the byline. There's your width on the right-hand side. Then what you'll probably see is that Rodgers has drifted inside slightly, because he doesn't need to stay wide. He's able to go inside. We've then got width on the left-hand side. Look at Rashford's body of work. Get into the 18-yard box and be a threat. And then we've got Luca Dean, who doesn't really need to get in there as much, but can just be more combative and defensively structured on that left-hand side, now that we've got Rashford in there. And then inside, we've got Marco Asensio, who's able to drift and glide and add that guile in there. And then we've got Ollie Watkins, who, you know, ran his socks off, had to do a lot of hard work, but was brilliant for his goal as well. Double pivot, very strong. McGinn getting into more of an advanced area. And then we've got our two centre halves and Martinez as well. You know, look where Martinez is he's mopping up as well. He's coming outside his 18-yard box. So that tackle that he did was absolutely brilliant. It shows his desire. And here we've got the Liverpool average positions, and you'll be able to see some of their heat maps as well with some of their players. So, there's space for us to exploit. You can see in between 17 and 8. You can see in behind 26 and 66. So, yeah, a lot of interesting stuff to look at there. We'll have a look at some of the underlying numbers now. And again, they are good reading. We've got Tielemans, 85% passing accuracy. 8 of his 11 duels were won. I'd probably say under the radar, Tielemans, possibly man of the match. He was good. So we'll have a look at McGinn as well then. So the combo there. So he got 88% passing accuracy. 6 of 9 of his duels were won. 1 of his 1 aerials were won. So he was really good. We'll have a little look then at Rashford, 74%, 4 of 7 duels. We've got Rodgers, 70%, 6 of 12. His duels. We've got Disasi, 4 of 7 duels. We've got 94% passing accuracy. I'm really liking Disasi. I think he's really good. Marlon, when he came on, 2 of 4 duels were won, 67% passing accuracy. Bogard, 100% passing accuracy. Asensio, 81, 3 of 7 duels. Garcia, 90% passing accuracy. 3 of 6 duels were won. Digne, 79%, 3 of 5 duels were won. So some really good performers there for Villa. We've got the momentum bar here, which first half, to-in and throw-in. Second half, they had that little bit more of a sustained period. But then Villa then grew into it and had a period of our own. So that's pleasing to see that we were able to stop that momentum from happening. And the stats are, pretty decent really for Villa. 52% possession, an XG of 0.67. They had 2.50. 2 big chances for Villa, 3 for Liverpool. 17 shots for Liverpool, 9 for Villa. Martinez has made 1 save. We've got Alisson with 1 save. 8 corners for Liverpool, 6 for Villa. Fouls, 6 for Liverpool, 8 for Villa. How? We've got passes, 449 for Villa, 407 for Liverpool. Tackles, 22 for Villa, 16 for Liverpool. We have then got some underlying numbers here. So final third, passes, 70% for Villa, 73 for Liverpool. 42% of our long balls were won, 16% of our crosses went in and that were accurate. We won 57% of our ground duels, which is brilliant. 48% of our aerials, 59% of our dribbles were successful. So the big thing that Emery wants to see there is win your individual battles, and we're able to win our individual battles. 22 tackles for Villa, 3 interceptions, 36 recoveries, 20 clearances, and 1 error that led to a goal. And that was the Garcia moment. So, all in all, very pleasing. But I want to see us build on it now. We have to build on it against Chelsea. I think that's the main point that comes out of the result against Liverpool. And yeah, there's just so many. When I look at our attack now, there's so many options. We've just got to make sure we are on it every single game. You're looking at Marlon at the end, so direct. Having chances. He had 2. Rashford. We've got Watkins, Rodgers. The midfield was good. Just iron out the back a little bit. Get that line a little bit more level. And yeah, good game. So really pleased with how we played. But I just want to see us build and grow on it now. So Villa fans, let me know how you feel day after the game. Who stood out for you? And what we're going to do is we're going to have our Chelsea preview out tomorrow. We'll be doing a watch along for the Champions League draw tomorrow as well. So double upload tomorrow. And we will then have fan cams on Saturday. So not really much of a turnaround, but I've gone, quite in depth on this one. So if you've enjoyed it, do your bit. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Get on the journey with us. Up the Villa.